After threatening to wipe out the entire civilization, Donald Trump has backed off from its threats and decided that he wants to blockade Iran. Now here's the problem, is that you want to blockade the blockade, which makes no sense at first glance. But if you actually think about it, that is one way to save the US economy. The only problem is that it is not going to save the US economy for long. If this blockade is going to continue, it is going to devastate the entire US economy. And I know that this sounds very pessimistic, but anything that has to do with war is extremely pessimistic. The United States at this point has no other option but to go with the ground invasion. This is probably the only way for the United States to save itself. And I'm not saying that a war is good, but unfortunately, the United States got itself into a position where it has no other option but to do that. The point is that if you don't let our ships to cross the Strait of Hormuz, we won't let your ships as well. Iran made it clear that if you're the US or an ally of the United States, your ships are not going to cross the Strait of Hormuz. But the United States is like, if you don't let our ships to cross, we won't let your ships to cross. This is of course an attempt to put maximum pressure on Iran so that it will actually start considering to negotiate with the United States and throw the maximalist demands they have under the bus and agree to the US terms. The problem is that Iran is self-sufficient. Iran has been under the international sanctions for about 50 years. So over this period, they've built an economy and have been relying completely on their own. They manufacture almost all of their necessities inside their country, which means that it doesn't matter how long this blockade is going to last. Iran is going to be safe anyways. It is going to devastate their economy, but they have all of their necessities. And Iran has been preparing for this, for the closure of Strait of Hormuz for a very long time. They knew that if the war is going to break up, and the war is going to break up, the strait is going to be closed. So we need to build the supply chains in such a way that we can actually survive. It is going to close the choke point for them. They won't be selling their oil to the outside world, but other than that, they have actually built a self-sufficient economy. But here's the problem, is that Chinese ships transport the Iranian oil. The oil might be Iranian, but it's not being transported by Iran itself. You have the Chinese ships that come to Iran through the Strait of Hormuz, pick up the oil and just go back to China. Now here's the question. Will the US military or the US Navy stop the Chinese ships? Does the United States want to start a war against China? Will the United States start a nuclear war? Well, most likely not, which is why if you just watch the news, you'll find out that the United States Navy has allowed multiple Chinese ships to just go through the Strait of Hormuz and pick up that oil. So this blockade makes no sense. So if this blockade doesn't make any sense, why the United States started the blockade to begin with? The problem is that the United States cannot possibly maintain high-intensive bombing for long. Producing weapons is extremely expensive for the United States because the United States has been using very advanced missiles. Some of these missiles cost tens of millions of dollars. So the United States has been fighting asymmetric war, which means that the United States is spending far more on this war than Iran, which means that in the long run, it cannot possibly maintain that. And if the United States will entirely empty their stockpiles of advanced missiles, the US military is going to be absolute. The US military won't be able to defend the countries in Southeast Asia. The US military will not be able to project power in other parts of the world. And that will be the end of the US military. So the United States was actually looking for an exit in such a way that they will stop bombing Iran because they simply don't have that many missiles to actually continue this bombardment. It will take years for the United States to rebuild the stockpiles. And the United States has other priorities, such as China, Russia, Europe, and other nations. So here's the choice the US had. Either start a ground invasion or walk away. But the US did not actually plan this war with a ground invasion because the United States thought that if we are going to decapitate the entire leadership, that will be the end of Iran and that's it. But now we know that's not it. On the other side, the United States cannot possibly walk away because it will be a real defeat. And now we have midterm elections around the corner. And if you lose a war, then you're guaranteed to lose the elections. which is why the United States is in a very strange position. And that's why the United States right now is very desperate with its options. 41% of the entire Navy is involved in this blockade, which is unsustainable. So when you actually have literally almost half of your entire Navy on the blockade of Iran, what do you think is happening to the rest of the world? The US military was designed in such a way that it's going to project power all across the globe, in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Red Sea, in the Arabian Sea, in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, and the rest of the world. Now you have half of the Navy there. Yes, certainly they can stay there for some time, a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Now the question is, what happens next? Can you literally just keep 40% of your Navy there for the rest of eternity? Well, of course not. There should be an end game to that plan. So here are the options the United States have at this point. The first option is that you're going to simply walk away slowly. Because the United States does not want to actually admit a defeat in this war, you will basically start a blockade, and slowly the world will start moving away from the Iran, and the world will start talking about something else, and the attention is going to move away from Iran, and that's when the United States will simply abandon the blockade. But that's a problem, because it just means that Iran won the war. Iran will have full control over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran will control the entire Middle East, and that will be the end of the United States in the Middle East. Now, these countries in the Middle East that have relied on the United States will no longer trust the United States. They're like, you did not protect us. You started the war and you did not protect us. How can we possibly cooperate with you? So the US will have to close its military bases. All these countries will create military alliances with other nations such as China, and that will be basically the end of petrodollar. Now, petrodollar was the main reason that allowed the United States to be the global reserve currency since the United States has abandoned the gold standard. What happens next? When these countries know that the petrodollar no longer exists, they will start selling their US treasuries, and that is a disaster for the United States. Why? Because all these treasuries will be coming back to the United States. But here is the good news, is that because Japan, China, UK, and other nations hold so much US treasuries, they don't want to simply dump all of them instantly into the market. Why? Because they will lose themselves. They don't want to lose. They want to make a profit. They want to sell them at fair value. So the sale of the US treasuries will happen slowly over time, over many years, maybe over the next 5 to 10 years. All of these treasuries will be coming back to the United States. Now here's the question. Who is going to buy them? Now, some of them will be purchased by the US investors, others will be purchased by the largest banks in the country, but primarily most of these US treasuries will be purchased by the Federal Reserve because no one else can actually afford over $10 trillion of the US treasuries. So the Federal Reserve will have to expand its balance sheet. So the Federal Reserve is basically the creator of the US dollar, and the way the Fed actually injects money into the economy through quantitative easing. If there is unrest in the economy, if there isn't a strong demand for the US treasuries, because we don't want to create a panic in the economy, the Federal Reserve prints money and buys the US treasuries, and that way it injects liquidity and creates this artificial demand. That's how, for example, the Fed saved the US economy in 2008. That's how the Fed saved the economy in 2020 and 2021. So there is no reason to believe that it is not going to happen again. We know it happened multiple times, and this is the only way we can save it. And if we have done it a few times, there is no way to believe, or there is no reason not to believe, that it's not going to happen again when the US economy is facing a similar problem. But that means high inflation, since you're throwing so much money into the economy. And when we have high inflation, then the Fed cannot possibly lower down interest rates to 2% or 2.5%. Maybe the Fed will have to increase interest rates to 7, 8, maybe 10%. So we're basically, or essentially, facing the exact same problem we have faced back in 1970s. When the United States abandoned the gold standard in 1970s, the world literally turned away their faces from the US dollar, and the United States faced a very, very high inflation. They have dumped so much of their US dollars that the United States experienced probably one of the highest inflations in the history of the country. And the Fed raised the interest rates to as high as 20%. So we are basically going to face the exact same problem. And it didn't last 1 year or 2 years. It literally lasted for more than 10 years. The only difference between then and now is that this is going to be way worse. The second option the US has is a ground invasion. So the United States wants to prove to the world that we still rule the world. We have the most powerful military in the world. So whatever you are China, you are Russia, you are Europe, it doesn't matter. We are the strongest country in the history of humanity. And if we need to force Iran to accept our terms, we will start with the ground invasion. But here's why we did not do that. Because the United States thought that if we launch this preemptive attack, and it's going to be very unexpected for Iran, it is going to force them to negotiate with the US. Now, this plan failed, so we have a second plan. The second plan is to create a coalition of countries that will help the United States with this war. Because the global economy isn't just the US, but it's the European countries, the UK, Japan, and other major economies. So meanwhile, while we have the blockade, we're going to create the coalition. We'll get on board the UK, France, and other allies. When we have a huge enough force, we are going to pressure Iran, first of all, economically, and then it is going to be militarily. And this is going to be a coordinated attack between multiple countries against Iran. And that means that you cannot possibly be afraid that these countries that are attacking with you, Iran, are going to sell their US treasuries. So you're not worried about the economic problem of the US dollar. And that's how the United States is most likely planning to continue with this. Because the yields are not going to spike, maybe they will remain the same. Even in the short run, the yields can even go down, which means that the burden, the interest payments on the United States will even go further down, which will make the interest payments much more sustainable. That is going to save the US economy in the short run. I'm not saying that war is good. I'm not advocating for war. I'm simply telling you the financial perspective of this. And this is exactly why most presidents before Trump did not actually want to start this war. This is why previous presidents simply avoided the problem and just sanctioned Iran, because they knew that they will be faced, if they start a war, these are the options they have. And nobody wants either of these options. So the best way to deal with this problem is to simply ignore the problem, just sanction Iran for as long as possible and let it collapse from inside. Because if you start a war, you will have to make this important decision. What is the end game at the end of the day? The end game at the end of the day is that in a few years from now, you will have to stop this invasion because it is going to cost you anything between $3 to $10 trillion. And when the cost is going to be so extremely expensive, you will basically declare victory and you will move away. The strategy here is that by the time you move away, the world economy has restructured and it no longer relies on Middle East for so much oil. Maybe they will move to Venezuelan oil. Maybe they will move to the US oil. Maybe by that time the Russian oil will be unsanctioned and it will fill the global economy. Maybe the Gulf countries will build the infrastructure to move most of that oil through Oman, maybe straight to the Arabian Sea. I don't know how it is going to look like, but it's going to give time for the global economy to restructure, and Iran is not going to have so much leverage over the global economy with the Strait of Hormuz. And that will look like a victory for the United States. Of course, it is going to be extremely expensive, but this is going to cost the United States so much that the US power will not last long. After that, in a few years, the United States will realize that the national debt just crossed $65 or $70 trillion. And now interest payments are $2 trillion, maybe $3 trillion. What do we do now? Well, we cannot possibly maintain that, which means that all of these countries will do the exact same thing. They will start selling their US treasuries. Most of them will be purchased by the Federal Reserve. The balance sheet of the Fed will expand. We will face stagflation. So this second option will only provide the United States with basically a few more years in order to last as a superpower. But here's the most important question. Are you ready for this scenario? Have you prepared yourself financially? Your dollars are about to become worthless, and it is going to happen whether you like it or not. which is why it is so important to make sure that you are invested. When the value of the dollar drops, the value of assets rise. When the United States abandoned the gold standard, the price of gold instantly jumped from $35 an ounce to almost $800 or $900. Today, the price of gold stands at about $5,000. This happens, the price of gold skyrockets. So one of the ways to protect yourself is by buying gold. But there are many ways to actually not just protect yourself, but make maximum amount of money. So if you want to know what are the best stocks to buy right now, then check out the Investing Academy. The link is in the description of this video.